Let's paint a picture here. You wake up, absolutely fired up, best intentions in the world. You tell yourself, okay, today is the day. I am finally starting that project. But then, well, you grab your phone. You start scrolling, just for a minute. But mysteriously, that minute turns into an hour. Suddenly, half the day is totally gone. So you think, all right, I'll start right after lunch. But by then, you're exhausted, so you push it to tomorrow. And at night, you're just lying in bed feeling this crushing sense of guilt, right? Disappointed that another day slipped by. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to break down the exact psychology of why this cycle happens, and more importantly, how to fix it.
It's incredibly frustrating, isn't it? Like you've got this crystal clear vision of what success looks like for you. You can imagine the life you want so vividly it almost feels real. Yet, when it's actually time to sit down and do the work, you just freeze. You wait. You promise yourself tomorrow will be different. But then, tomorrow shows up and boom, the exact same cycle repeats itself. You know deep down you're capable of so much more, but you just kind of can't seem to make yourself move.
Now, I really want you to take this quote to heart. Ambition without action is just fantasy. If you're stuck in this loop, it is not because you're a bad person. It doesn't mean you aren't smart, and it definitely doesn't mean you lack talent. What we're actually dealing with here is pure psychology. We're looking at these deep, ingrained patterns in your brain that have built up over time. And the really great news, if a psychological pattern was built, it can absolutely be unbuilt. We can change it.
So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First, ambitious but stuck. Then, your brain's survival mode, followed by the perfectionism trap. After that, we'll get into step-by-step daily discipline, designing a distraction-free workspace, and finally, the power of self-compassion. Okay, let's dive right into Section 1, ambitious but stuck. This is all about that agonizing gap between dreaming big for your future and doing absolutely nothing in the present. Which brings us right into Section 2, your brain's survival mode. Right now, the part of your brain that craves comfort is totally winning. And honestly, that's just basic human psychology. Our brains are literally hardwired to avoid pain and seek out pleasure. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what that internal tug-of-war looks like. On one side, you have your brain's deepest desires, comfort, safety, and those sweet, sweet short-term dopamine hits. On the flip side, you have what your brain is absolutely terrified of, effort, the uncertainty of your big goals, and the looming possibility of failure. So when you even just think about working on those goals, your brain perceives that effort as a literal threat. So what does it do? It offers you an easy way out. It rewards you with a hit of dopamine just for avoiding the hard work. It thinks it's doing you a favor and protecting you, but in reality, it's totally stealing your long-term happiness. All right, let's move along to Section 3, the perfectionism trap. Now, what's really interesting about this is how we lie to ourselves. You probably think you aren't starting because, well, you just don't have the perfect plan figured out yet, right? You tell yourself you're just waiting until you feel totally ready or until the conditions are just right. But let's be real. Perfection never comes. Ready never comes. We need to completely reframe what perfectionism actually is. It's not about having incredibly high standards. Perfectionism is just fear disguised as excellence. It's literally just your brain handing you a very clever excuse so you never have to start. Because think about it. If you never start, you can never fail. You get to just stay in this safe little fantasy world where your ideas are brilliant, completely avoiding the terrifying truth of testing them out in reality. And that brings us to this comparison. We naturally tend to assume that failure is the opposite of success. But actually, scratch that. That is entirely wrong. Inaction is the opposite of success. When you fail, you actually learn something valuable. When you do nothing, you learn absolutely nothing. Every single successful person you admire has failed way more times than you've even tried. The secret is that they simply take imperfect action. They start long before they feel ready. So, how do we actually fix this? That brings us to Section 4, step-by-step daily discipline. It is officially time to shift from dreaming to doing. You're probably sitting around waiting for this massive burst of motivation to come save you. But here's the thing. Motivation is just a feeling, and feelings fade. You really can't build a life on fleeting motivation. You need a system. So here's your tactical step-by-step guide to building actual discipline. Step 1, pick one small thing that moves you toward your goal. I'm not talking about a massive life overhaul here, just one single thing. Step 2, do it for exactly 15 minutes. Write one paragraph, make one phone call, organize one folder. It honestly doesn't matter. Just do it.
Step 3, repeat it tomorrow. Now, I won't lie, discipline feels pretty terrible at first, and your brain is going to scream at you to stop. But every single time you push through those 15 minutes, you're literally rewiring your brain. You're teaching it that discomfort isn't dangerous. Remember, consistency is what builds habits, not perfection.
Let's jump to section 5, designing a distraction-free workspace.
Here's a huge realization. Your environment is controlling you way more than you probably think. Overcoming distractions isn't a willpower problem. It is a design problem. Successful people don't magically have more willpower than the rest of us. They just have drastically better systems that make focus the default option. Think about it. If your phone is sitting right next to you, you're going to check it. If your workspace is chaotic, your mind is going to be chaotic. So here are the specific physical and digital tactics you need to implement right now. Turn off all notifications. Put your phone in a completely different room. Seriously, try it. Clean off your desk. Set a specific sacred time every single day for focused work and fiercely protect that time. And close every unnecessary tab on your computer. Make it physically harder to be distracted than it is to just do the work. Every single distraction you remove is one less decision your brain has to make, which saves all that precious mental energy for your actual goals.
So the absolutely crucial point here is this: stop learning and start executing. Look, I know you love consuming content. You watch videos on success, you read articles on productivity, you listen to explainers on motivation. And it feels exactly like progress, doesn't it? But it's not. It's just another really sneaky form of avoidance. Your brain is totally tricking you into thinking that learning about the work is the same thing as actually doing the work. But deep down, you already know exactly what you need to do.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 6, the power of self-compassion. As you start taking action, you're going to realize pretty quickly that progress is never a straight line. You're going to face heavy resistance, you're going to produce some really rough first drafts, and yeah, you're going to mess up. But how you handle those inevitable setbacks will dictate your entire future. Read this quote with me. Lazy is not who you are, it is what you have been doing. Listen, guilt does not motivate you. Beating yourself up and carrying around a bunch of shame, that doesn't make you better. The real secret to long-term consistency is self-compassion. If you mess up or skip a day, just talk to yourself like you would a good friend. Acknowledge the setback, forgive yourself, and then just do one small thing right now. Forgiveness gives you the permission to try again without carrying around the heavy, paralyzing weight of past failures.
I want to leave you with this provocative question to think about. Who will you be when you stop waiting to feel ready? You've spent so much time imagining the life you want. You aren't broken, you're just stuck in a pattern. And as we learned today, patterns can absolutely be changed. But here's the catch: no one is going to do it for you. You have to stop planning, stop waiting for motivation to strike. When this explainer ends, I'm challenging you to go take just one small step today. Because on the other side of that initial struggle is the version of you that doesn't just dream, it's the version of you that actually does the work. Go be that person, starting right now.